Federal Reserve Chairman Jay Powell telling the House Financial Services Committee yesterday to expect more interest rate hikes, saying that inflation and the fight to fight inflation has a long way to go. Watch.
My colleagues and I understand the hardship that high inflation is causing, and we remain strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal. We think housing inflation will be coming down significantly over the course of the rest of this year and next year.
And joining us right now is Iowa Congressman, member of the House Financial Services and Agriculture Committees, Zach Nunn. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here this morning. What was your main takeaway from the hearing with Powell yesterday?
Maria, thanks so much for having us. The key aspect here is the Fed has two responsibilities. That's price stability and it's full employment. Right now, we see a situation in which the employment continues to be very good. In fact, in my home state of Iowa, we're down to 2.7% unemployment. Challenge here is that a lot of this unemployment that remains is the fact that you've got people who are underemployed or don't have the type of, take-home salary that allows them to keep up with inflation. That's where the price stability comes in. The second takeaway I would have immediately is that the Fed is really looking at what they're going to do in the regulatory process. And I would say this is stepping outside their mandate. The type of restrictions and regulatory environment they're putting on banks right now is putting many of my small town banks, my community lenders, and my credit unions in a very difficult and precarious position. We don't need more instability in this market. We need the Fed to be a leader in providing stability in both the inflation that is running away as well as what we can do to make sure the employment market continues to get people into those jobs where they can actually afford to live, not a single mother working double shift just to be able to pay for her kids' groceries.
Well, look, Jay Powell also told the committee yesterday that there's still a labor shortage. Here's what he said about that. You mentioned unemployment. Watch.
There a while ago, there were 2 jobs for every unemployed person. Now we're down to 1.7, I believe, or 1.6, and that still speaks to a historically tight labor market, where the demand for labor still very substantially exceeds the supply of available workers.
Yeah, Congressman, that's where we look every month at the productivity numbers. How do you assess that?
Yeah, I think we added over 300,000 jobs in the last month alone. The challenge here is that are these jobs that are actually affording people to live? We have an inflation rate that is screaming away at a high rate of speed. We've been able to bring it down from, almost 10% to 4%. The reality is we got to get it down to 2% so that even those who are employed can afford to live.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Federal Reserve is seeming to be the only game in town in terms of taking inflation down because you've got this tsunami of spending on the fiscal side. But the White House released a new memo, and it is attacking Republicans' economic policies, claiming that the study committee's new budget is telling the middle class, quote, to go to hell when it comes to drug prices. They claim you and your colleagues are colluding with big pharma now, Congressman.
Yeah, that's rich, and it's ultimately a distraction. The reality is the Biden administration has had their foot on the gas pedal for the past 2 years to the tune of trillions of dollars. We've been hitting that red line for far too long. Now for every family in my district, every farmer, every small business owner, the cost of input continues to increase. We're twice where we need to be on the inflation. That's a runaway responsibility. The White House has got to take ownership of this. Stop the spending. We passed a number of bills in Congress. The REINS Act makes sure that the administration can't spend money without Congress's approval. The Fed has to do their job and drive this down.
Yeah, it's interesting because Kayleigh McGee-White, jump in here. We've even heard from former Federal Reserve Bank officials who say that the Federal Reserve can do only so much, but they're faced with this tsunami of spending and stimulus. Right now, Joe Biden's still trying to get his student loan, forgiveness through. That's more stimulus.
Yeah, absolutely. And Congressman, most economists actually say that the COVID stimulus spending that Congress passed through was a big driver of inflation in the first place. So are there any plans from you and your lawmakers to sort of claw back that COVID spending and, most importantly, to get the federal spending levels under control moving forward?
Kayleigh, you're absolutely right. This was the first thing we did in the Deficit Reduction Act that we passed just last month here. It's the first time in history that we've actually cut federal spending. The other aspect of this is that we need to recognize that the Fed had a responsibility way back in 2021 to scale back here. They're playing catch up. It's too little, too late. At the same time, we have a vice chairman of the Fed in Barr who's choosing to go in a completely different direction, add a lot more regulatory burden on our lending institutions. And that means that we have less capability to do this in the private sector, where a lot of this could be solved if the Fed and the Senate Banking Committee, particularly Democrats on that committee, would allow the private sector to do what it does best, create jobs and be able to drive down the runaway inflation that we see.
Yeah, well,
we have a responsibility in Congress to help with that.
You're right, but that direction comes from President Biden. He's the one talking about all of this regulation to come for smaller and regional banks. Congressman, thank you. We'll be keeping a spotlight on it. Zach Nunn joining us this morning.